What it do, YouTube? It's SS, and I'm back with another video on this one right here. This one right here. Well, let me tell you, this one right here got me to veteran. I hit veteran with this team. I was literally struggling in the 1700s just a couple of days ago, probably just a week ago to be honest. And look at me now. I am actually in the 2500s. Thank God for specialty cups, because those are the ones where I do accelerate a lot better in. Open great leagues are a little bit harder for me, so that's why I don't drop a lot of videos. But um I did hit a veteran with this team, so I do want to say that this is a very strong team. Talonflame is just really good. It does okay up against the Swampert as well. But yeah, I didn't do these on Twitch, but I will be streaming on Twitch soon. I'm not sure when. So link in the description if you do want to follow me on Twitch. Hope to see you guys over there. But yeah, let's go ahead and get into this video. If you guys saw the video before, I was running Gust on my Pidgeot. I was seeing a lot of Pidgeot leads and stuff, a lot of flying leads, Gligar. So I did go for Steelix in the lead, although you would say this is a bad lead here for Steelix, but you can actually shield the dig and then go for the break and swipe, as you see me go here. And then they actually end up swapping out, so I'm gonna go ahead and break and swipe the Diggersby, and at this point I'm going to switch out into my Pidgeot because I do want to save my Talonflame for the end game, just in case there is something that I need Talonflame for. So I'm going to go for the Aerial Ace, and at this point I'm going to go for the, I was hoping this was going to be CMP, but it's not. I'm hoping that they let it go. They do. They come into Steelix, and I'm going to go for the Feather Dance here. Um, I'm not too sure if this is the correct play, but I don't have Brave Bird, so I can't go for the Brave Bird. I know that they're going to break and swipe me, so I'm just going to go ahead and let this go through. They're going to swap out to Gligar, which is fine. I'm going to bank this energy here. They're going to throw a move. I'm going to bank the energy. I'm going to swap out into my own Steelix, and then I'm going to get the farm down with the Gligar. At this point, I'm just going to go straight break and swipe because I do want to cause any and every damage. And if I could debuff them at this point, to where they can't do anything to my Talonflame, which would be really good. They go for the Earthquake here, and at this point, my only win con would be to go for the farm down. So if I would have shielded that Earthquake, caused enough pressure for the Steelix, then I would have won that. But we do go for a tie there, which is fine. Now we're going to see Talonflame in the lead. And this is kind of really iffy because I know that they're going to go for the Flame Charge here. So I'm going to go for the Break and Swipe here, bring back down their attack. And at this point, I was expecting them not to throw right away, but expecting them to throw right away, and they do end up throwing right away. Since they do that, I'm gonna bring in my Talonflame, hoping I can get the farm down before they can actually get to the Brave Bird, but I'm not able to get to the farm down. So I'm gonna go ahead and get the farm down. They come to a Swampert, and this is not looking really good for me. But I'm gonna go for the Brave Bird. They do end up shielding. I swap out. They come to Needle Queen, and this is looking actually okay now. So I'm gonna go straight for the aerial ace here. I was hoping, well, I guess it doesn't matter, right? Uh, Poison Fang is not gonna be enough to KO. Mud shots are not gonna be enough to KO, so they do gotta throw right away. They do end up throwing because if not, then I would get to move. And now I just need to get to this Brave Bird, and this Brave Bird is gonna be enough to KO this Swampert. So as you guys can see, Talonflame can definitely work around Swampert. It's just how you play it. So let's go ahead and hop into the next battle. Now we're gonna see Steelix into a Diggersby, and this is kind of a bad lead, right? Because the Scorching Sands, I was not expecting them to CMP me, to be honest, but they do go for the CMP. I do end up shielding. At this point, I'm going to try to catch the next Scorching Sands on my Pidgeot, which we do end up catching. They're going to come out into their Noctowl, which is fine. At this point, I'm going to go ahead and let this go through because I already used the shield. I don't want to use another shield. And I'm just going to go for the Aerial Ace. I could debuff him, but since I know that Steelix has a really good matchup up against this Noctowl, I'm just going to go ahead and let it go through. And then we're just going to go down. Now we're gonna come back into Steelix, and I can just throw a breaking swipe here. They don't have to shield. And if they don't shield, I just go for the farm down here completely. I am not going to throw a move since they swapped out. I'm actually going to go ahead and throw the breaking swipe. And then at this point, I'm going to do one more and I'm going to try to catch, but I don't catch. They could throw the hyper beam here. If they do, that's fine. But they go for the scorching sands, which is fine. And then I try to do one and throw, but they actually are able to get to another scorching sand, which actually I should have probably threw the move first, undercharged it, then through. They're gonna get to a sky attack here, and then at this point I'm gonna be able to farm down completely. They come into a jump pluff, I do believe, and I'm just gonna flame charge it, which is fine. And then they're gonna go ahead and switch out. Then I'm gonna go to Steelix. I can shield this, and then they're gonna have to throw a move at me. They already know this game's pretty much over, so they do end up conceding. So this team pretty much has a lot of fast move pressure, as you guys can see. Unova and Stunfisk into our Steelix. Typically this is not good. I don't really want to shield, but I do end up shielding just because I know I'm going to debuff him and I can take the next move. But I make a mistake here and do not throw after one. So now I do have to take the mud bomb. And since because I did that, I'm just going to go straight for the earthquake at this point. No reason in baiting, and I do end up KOing the Unova Stunfisk, and then I'm going to try to bank a move here on my Pidgey on my Steelix, which we do end up banking a move. They come out into a Dunsparce, which is really looking not good for us, but we'll see what it does here. So now I'm gonna come back into my Steelix, and I'm gonna go break and swipe it. At this point, I was trying to think if I could catch, so I'm gonna try to go for the drill run catch here. After I do a couple of Dragon Tails, I'm assuming that they're gonna throw there, but they do not throw. They actually end up switching out, just like how I swapped out, and I think because of that, now I end up losing the game. So if I would have just stayed in, would have been a lot better for me. And but Dunsparce actually went CMP up against Steelix, so there's nothing I can do. So yeah, literally nothing I could do. So I should have just, I don't know. I don't think, to be honest, I don't think I could have did anything. But as you can see, I went to 24 something. It's pretty small on the screen, so I can't see. Now we're gonna see a Pidgeot into our Steelix, which is really good for us. They swap out into, I can't really tell what that is, a Gligar, so I'm gonna debuff it. And since we get to the breaking swipe and they get to the dig at the same time, so I know that they're probably gonna end up throwing right away. So I end up catching on my Pidgeot, and then at this point I can just go straight for the farm down. I do get the farm down. Now I'm gonna go straight for the aerial ace here. Feather Dance is a lot more energy. They do end up no shielding, which is fine. And then they end up catching here. I do believe they caught on a Flygon, so it kind of hurts that I'm hurting the Flygon, but it is fine. So they are actually going to be able to get to a move here. I'm thinking this is just going to be a Dragon Claw. It is the Dragon Claw. I'm going to throw it right away, and then I'm going to dip. Uh, Mainly because I want the shield, and then I'm going to shield this as well, thinking it's the Scorching Sands. It is the Scorching Sands. So now since Pidgeot is up against my Steelix, I'm not going to shield here, and at this point this game is over for them, so I don't know why they're playing it out, but they are playing it out. And yep, at this point I can farm down completely, and it's going to be GG's. So now we're going to hop into the next battle. We're going to see Steelix into Gligar. Like I said, it's a okay matchup. You pretty much want to try to catch the dig on one of your backmons. Typically Pidgeot, as you guys see, I do go Pidgeot a lot of times. They come into a Victini, and I'm like, okay, well, I want them to throw first, but I was trying to go for the Feather Dance, hoping I could get to the Feather Dance before they got to the move. But unfortunately for me, that was not the case. But I do end up throwing the Feather Dance right away. They get to another move. I'm gonna go ahead and let this go through. I live it a lot better now, and they're gonna come back into their Gligar most likely. They do. I'm gonna throw the aerial ace here and see what they want to do. Do they want to shield? They don't want to shield, which is fine with me at this point. I'm gonna go ahead and let this go through. It is the aerial ace, and then I do believe I come into my Talonflame, just trying to get energy here because I don't want them to throw anything at my Steelix, just in case I do need the Steelix in the back. but they have a Vigor out, so keeping the Steelix is really not ideal. But at this point, as you see me, I'm just gonna go ahead and swap out. They can throw whatever they want to throw here. They do go for the bulldoze. Then I go for the breaking swipe, trying to lower their attack here. I do get the lower attack, and at this point, I do believe I need to farm down completely. I need to shield this. I don't shield. Oh man, I made a big mistake there. I threw that game. Okay, well, yeah, well, that's how it goes sometimes. So, sometimes you forget the matches that you do, and sometimes you remember them, sometimes you don't. Um, so now they're gonna end up swapping out into a Vega out here with their Pidgeot lead, and I'm gonna try to catch the Bulldoze, but I don't catch the Bulldoze, which is fine. They do throw on bad timing, which gives me a free Gust, and then at this point, I believe I'm just gonna sack the Pidgeot because there's no point in me shielding the Pidgeot. The Vigoroth is super low. So I do end up farming down the Vigoroth. Then come back into the Pidgeot. I'm going straight for the Feather Dance here. Um, they no shield, which is fine. I'm gonna try to get to another move. We do get to another move, and I'm hoping that they at least shield this one. They do end up shielding, which is really good. They're half health at this point. They come into a Rufflet, and I'm gonna break and swipe, and then we're gonna see, do I stay in? No, I swap out. And then at this point, I'm gonna shield just in case it has Rock Tomb, because it can carry Rock Tomb, but they do actually go straight for the Brave Bird, which is fine. I'm gonna throw right away. I'm not even gonna throw in Incinerate, as you guys see. And then at this point, I can let this go through. If they Brave Bird me, then the game is pretty much over for them, and they know it, and they just end up top lefting. So GG's to my opponent. Now we're gonna see Steelix into another Pidgeot. Like I said, a lot of Pidgeot leads, and I don't want them to throw the Brave Bird yet. I want them to throw it after I debuff them. So I'm gonna go ahead and let this go through. If it is the Brave Bird, that's fine. It is the Brave Bird, but we take minimal damage because of the break and swipe debuff. That's the only reason I threw on bad timing. And since now I debuffed their Vigoroth, I'm gonna go ahead into my Pidgeot. I don't want to take too much counter damage, because I do want to line my Steelix up to their Pidgeot. They end up letting it go, which is fine. And because they let it go through, I'm just gonna go ahead and let mine go through. Try to get to a move. I do get to a move. So do they want to shield or no? They don't want to shield, which is fine with me. In the back is the Needle Queen, and this is gonna look a little bit iffy. So at this point, I'm gonna call this is a Poison Fang. I don't even think they build up to the Earth power. So I'm just gonna go break and swipe here at this point, and yeah, the break and swipe's gonna go through. I'm going to switch out, and they realize that they can't do anything because they're just gonna get farmed down. I could just two shield there and then farm down when incinerates. Um, Another Pidgeot lead. Like I said, a lot of Pidgeot leads, and a lot of teams also were running Gligar in the back with the Pidgeot, which is a questionable team. But either way, I'm gonna come into my Pidgeot up against the Gligar because I know they're not gonna be able to throw digs at my Pidgeot. They do make it to another move. I'm just gonna go ahead and let it go, hoping that I can live this. I do live, so now I'm just probably gonna throw right away. I do believe. Yep, I throw right away. It is a Steelix. Kind of feels bad, but I do make it to another move here. I do make it to the aerial ace. I'm gonna throw the aerial ace. And then I'm going to come into Talonflame. I know that they're going to debuff me, which is fine. But if they do end up swapping, I'm going to swap as well. As you see me, I do not actually tap because I anticipated that they were going to swap out. Because if I did do an Incinerate, then I would be stuck in the move and the animation. And this Pidgeot would have got a lot more farm. Would it have done something? No, but it's always good to practice good habits. And so I didn't tap it. Saw that they swapped out, so I swapped out as well. And then I'm gonna go for the break and swipe. We do end up KOing the Pidgeot. I'm just gonna break and swipe again, the Steelix, and at this point, I could just shield my Talonflame, and I should be able to farm down completely. I do believe. Let's see. Yeah, the Incinerate went through, so I could just shield this. Not that the Breaking Swipe would do anything, like it wouldn't KO from that point, but the Breaking Swipe and the Dragon Tails would have been enough. And we go 4-1 right there. I did not expect to hit Veteran, to be honest. I went, what I was it, 4-1-5-0-3-2. So that would be 9, 9, 12. I went 12-3. Um, and since this is a double, I'm expecting them to be running Wild Charge in the lead. So this is why I'm staying in. Because I don't expect them to have payback. But they do have payback. Okay. I don't know why they would be running payback in the lead, but okay, that is fine. I'm gonna go ahead and let this go through, hoping that it's the body slam. It is the body slam. So maybe whatever is in the back, we can make it to a breaking swipe. We don't make it to a breaking swipe, and this is kind of really bad. Talonflame up against our Pidgeot. I'm gonna go ahead and shield, but most likely it's the flame charge. It is the flame charge. I'm gonna try to catch the next flame charge. I don't catch the next flame charge. Uh, so they end up swapping out into their figure out, which is fine. This is CMP. I'm gonna go ahead and let this go through. It's a body slam, and then at this point, I'm gonna try to get to another move, but I don't make it to another move because they do outpace me. I don't live it, so I'm gonna go straight for the feather dance here. Because at this point they kind of need to start shielding, but they don't shield, which is fine. So I'm gonna go ahead and let this go through as well. So I probably should have went aerial ace in that case. And then now I need to get to back-to-back moves here so I can win. And I do believe that I'm at 2 aerial aces, and because I'm at 2 aerial aces, I can actually just throw right away and actually win this game. So a little tough end game, made it a little bit harder for myself, but we do end up taking it. Swampert. One Pokemon you really don't want to see in the lead. It's my least favorite Pokemon to see, to be honest. I'm gonna shield this Hydro Cannon. I'm gonna go ahead and throw the Breaking Swipe. I'm gonna do one more, and then I'm gonna try to swap, but it doesn't let me swap. So at this point, I'm just gonna go ahead and let it go through. And then I'm gonna try to catch again, but I don't catch. I actually end up just farming them down with the Gust animation, and they come into an Bomb Snow. This is looking kind of pretty good for me, but I'm gonna go for the Feather Dance here. Lower their attack. They do end up not shielding. I'm not gonna shield this. So I can come into my Talonflame at this point and farm this down. And then start getting energy on Talonflame. And then in the back they actually have a victory bell, a shadow victory bell, and we're gonna be able to take that game with our Talonflame. Gligar lead. A lot of Gligars. This one's purified. This might be the match where I get returned. But either way, let's see. I think it is this person that returns me. And then they're gonna come into a double. I'm expecting it to have wild charge. So I'm gonna let go. If they do want to debuff themselves, that's fine. But they throw the body slam at this point. I'm gonna let this go through, hoping it's another body slam. It is another body slam. So I can try to get to the next move, but they end up throwing right away, which is fine. So I'm gonna go ahead and let it go down. And then now I'm gonna come into Talonflame, start getting this juicy farm. We got 2 Incinerates. They come into Gligar. I'm gonna go ahead and let this go through. And it's the return, like I said. Thinking it's an aerial ace, but I actually ended up getting returned. Pretty spicy of the opponent, and now I think at this point, because of that, I do end up losing. So yeah, then I'm gonna swap out. Yeah, I don't think there's anything I can do here. I gotta shield this. Even though it's a body slam, I do have to start shielding. I do want to get this break and swipe off. They do end up shielding, which is fine. And then I do believe I'm gonna go ahead and shield again. It is the bulldoze this time, so maybe that could be our winning grace. I go for the breaking swipe. It is close to being enough to KOing, and at this point, I need to get the farm down. I do get the farm down, and we're at the breaking swipe, so I'm going to throw the breaking swipe on their Vigoroth, and we're actually going to be able to take that game after getting returned. So if I would have shielded the return, it would have been a lot comfortable matchup. I was kind of scared that I was going to lose it, but once again, we see Pidgeot into our Steelix, and at this point, I'm going to stay in. I'm gonna go for the earthquake. I know that this is not an earthquake. I know this is just a breaking swipe, which is fine. I'm gonna go for the earthquake here. See what they want to do. Do they want to shield? They do want to shield, which is fine. So I'm gonna come into my Talonflame because I know that they can't earthquake me. I mean, I guess they could, but it wouldn't be the correct play in my opinion. So at this point, they are at another breaking swipe. So I'm just gonna shield this one. I'm gonna go for the flame charge. Charge it up to an excellent. See what they want to do. They don't want to shield, which is fine. I'm hoping I can live this. And I do end up living. I'm just gonna go straight for the Brave Bird here. No reasons to bait here. Um, and they do let it go through, which is really good for me. So now I can come into my Steelers. They come into Vigoroth, and at this point, I can just sack my Pidgeot. Just make sure that I do keep a shield for my Steelix, and it should be a GG's. So since I'm not gonna throw another fast move, I'm just gonna go straight for the aerial ace. They do end up shielding, which is good for me. And then they throw, but I think it's just a safer play to shield here and then throw. Since I'm at that point, and then I'm trying to switch out, but I can't switch out. But this Pidgeot is so far low that a breaking swipe and some Dragon Tails are gonna be enough to KO, and we're gonna be able to take that game. Yeah. And then now we're gonna hop into the next battle. Oh, jokes. Yeah. So this is the last game. This is the last game. For a second, I almost thought I was gonna go 5-0. I do throw in bad timing here, which I probably shouldn't have, but I do end up throwing a bad timing because I know that I'm gonna end up swapping out. They have a Nidoqueen in the bag, so we bait out the Nidoqueen, which is good. We don't see it up against our Talonflame because Talonflame is super glassy and would not live the Poison Fang. So I'm gonna go ahead and let it go through, hoping I can get to this next aerial ace. I do make it to the aerial ace because I don't want to shield the Poison Fang. They let it go, so we end up winning that exchange, which is fine. So I'm gonna come into Talonflame at this point. I'm gonna go ahead and let this go through. It's just a body slam. I know that they got a lot of energy, and at this point, I'm gonna shield, and then did they wait? They break me there? I think they break me. I think I'm not too sure, but either way, they got a Gligar in the back. Now I can start debuffing this Gligar, and this is looking pretty tough. They're probably gonna go for the CMP. I throw right away just because I didn't expect them to throw, but they end up throwing the dig. And I'm gonna go for the breaking swipe at this point, and then so they do end up throwing it again. They need to throw the dig because the aerial ace won't be enough. I need to farm down completely. I do have a Brave Bird for this Vigoroth, and because we have this Brave Bird for this Vigoroth, we're actually gonna go ahead and win. I don't think I needed the Brave Bird, but I do end up Brave Birding to get the 5-0 here. And as you guys can see, we're gonna hit veteran. Um, this is my season high. I have not been this high in a long time. So I hope you guys like the battles. Like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you guys on the next video.